and handrails in public places so that if people are touching those surfaces, they would not be able to pick up the virus. So while we're saying this is a COVID innovation, the reality is the article says it took 10 years to develop it. So anyway, it's cool that it came out now. Hopefully it really works, because that is kind of a neat way to kind of deal with managing COVID, which gets me to my next section, which is about different crazy things that people are doing to manage COVID. Some of them I'm pointing to because they're really cool, some just because they're odd. This first one falls into that category. Virtual babysitting. My child is so old that I don't need a virtual babysitter. She probably would fall into the category of being a virtual babysitter, but people are actually paying other people to be on Zoom with their children so that they can work. So just think that through for a minute. That puts a whole new spin on how much screen time your kid has. Go watch the TV so your babysitter can see you, you know? But anyway, it's happening because people are trying to work. And I will say that yesterday I did a conference call with a poor woman who had like a 9-month-old. And she's like trying to be a business professional and she's jiggling the 9-month-old. And then finally her husband walks in and she hands off the baby. And, you know, and it was just kind of like, oh, this poor woman. Like, it just made me very glad I have a 16-year-old instead of a 9-month-old. But anyway, next one, speaking of children, Triumph Health, which is an Estonian company, has created an app that makes it a game for kids to talk about their symptoms and talk about what they're feeling with regard to COVID. Hey, Kai. So the app is available in Estonian, English, and Russian. You have to register the email. They initially opened it to Estonia and the UK, but it's now being offered anywhere where English is spoken. But it's basically a game so kids can talk about how they feel about COVID. I do know that in my world, my daughter has a half sister who is 4, who is regularly playing COVID doctor with her stuffed animals. So I know that it is kind of penetrating their minds that it's there, because she's set up a hospital for all of her animals. So, which is kind of sad when you think about it. And more practical stuff for those of us in business. This is an interesting site, COVID-19 Continuity. It's basically, you can sign up for the email and it just helps you understand kind of opportunities and things for running your business. It's divided by topics and regions and sectors. There's been some interesting stuff. I get this email now, and you know, it's like good ideas about, now that we're talking about bringing people back to work, kind of talking about what does that look like, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a cool site, covidcontinuity.com. Another free service that I found was offered by this company, Sensory Minds, in Europe. It's a free 1-hour workshop to look up, kind of brainstorm quick solutions that will be economically viable for your business to deal with COVID. So free is always good. So it's Sensory Minds GmbH. So they're using design thinking to solve core problems and resolve the economic impact for your business. Anyway, I may try it. I can't say that it would hurt, right? Then we get to masks. Everyone's talking about masks. So I'm going to show you 3 different versions of solutions with masks that are interesting. In Bolivia, masks are becoming a political statement. These are the masks. That mask actually says staying home is not the same as staying quiet at home. So it's an domestic violence mask. So we have a little political statement, but this feminist group is actually selling those masks to raise money to support stopping domestic violence, which has increased since we all went home. Some of us obviously are not getting along as well as we would have liked. So. And then in happier news, over in England, celebrities and artists are getting together to make kind of designer masks that are being sold to support the National Health Service. So Stephen Fry, Elizabeth Hurley have modeled face masks that are being sold to raise money for the health service. They're printed with portraits of famous artists, including Picasso, Matisse, and Dali. So if you would like to get that, you can go to the Smile for Our NHS campaign and get a stylish mask that way. But wait, there's more opportunity yet. In case you're worried about your phone, not recognizing you when you have a mask. This company uses your photos to create face recognition respirator masks that they guarantee on an N95 mask, which they guarantee will allow your phone to recognize you with its phone recognition app, despite the fact you're wearing a mask. So very handy if you want to wear your mask and still be able to open your phone with your facial recognition technology.
That's fun.
Yeah, I mean, okay. You know? Now, in a similar vein, in case you're worried about containers for your antiseptic, Safe Hand Fish. This is a company that normally manufactures these little containers for soy sauce for bento boxes in Japan. Well, because they couldn't make any bento boxes because they were shut down for production, they turned their soy fish into antibacterial liquid containers, changed the color to blue so you know that it's not soy sauce, in case that was a question. And then they made their own antiseptic with grapeseed extract, which they, if you scroll down in this website, it actually, lays out why they say that their product is actually going to be remove 99.9% of the viruses within 30 seconds. So,
Oh, wow.
so anyway, so you get a handy dandy cute container and you get fairly non-toxic hand sanitizer. So that's Clear Electron is the name of that company that's doing that. And I guess when this is all over, they'll go back to making soy sauce. So, let's see, what's next? Oh, this is kind of a cool article. And I'm just going to kind of go through all the options they have in this article. So one of the things as we're talking about opening back up is people not wanting to touch different surfaces. So there's multiple different companies that have, let me see if I can find this article. Yeah, that have come up with different hand options. So this is one for round doorknobs. It's called the hands-free doorknob. So it's this red thing. Kind of cool thing about it is that it's thermochromatic. So if someone has touched it, it changes colors. So you'll know if someone else has touched it before you do, and you can sanitize accordingly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. Another one, this is one you would carry around yourself. It's essentially like a clip thing that you would carry around with you and use to open all the doors that you needed to open without have a handle like that. They're saying it's a pair of hooks that clips together, and you can avoid contact with handles, buttons, bags, and other daily objects outside of your home to increase hygiene. This one, so that one's called Handy. This one is called, it's just materializes, made these 3D printed door openers that basically create an arm shift, so you can put your covered arm in there to pull the door open rather than touching the handle. Here's another one that does the same thing, the forearm shield. Again, you can reach and use your hand, or use your arm instead of using your hand. And it supposedly can be fitted to a bunch of different sizes and shapes of doorknobs. This one, I think, because I'm a big believer in twist ties for all things. This is a twist tie, cable tie attachment that if you live in an apartment that has multiple fire doors where you're having to touch these, you can, for the good of your neighbors, and use twist ties, install this little thing, and then you can use your arm to pull the door open so you don't contaminate your hands as you're trying to leave the office or leave your home. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool that there are all these different people coming up with that. I don't know which ones we're going to adopt in the co-work space, but I'm sure we will be adopting some of them or one of them in different places so that people can avoid touching stuff. Next, this is just a happy story. So this guy, he's a World War II veteran, okay? And he decided to raise money for the National Health Service by walking across his garden. I don't know how big his garden is, frankly, but the fact that he turned 100 and he's walking across his garden made people in Britain very happy. So nationally, they threw him a huge birthday party. He got 150,000 birthday cards, and a railway train was named for him. And he's got a sign up in Piccadilly Circus right now. So yay him for raising money for National Health Service, and yay Great Britain for celebrating a 100-year-old World War II veteran. Very cool. So that was just because I thought that was cool. And he looks so, doesn't he look happy? I mean, I just thought he looked adorable. Okay, so next thing, other happy news, Holidays for Heroes. This hotel chain is offering 25% off to Frontline Heroes for bookings on their hotels from mid-May until October 31st. And all rates will remain fully refundable in case they have to change their time, and then they'll donate €5 to the International Red Cross for every reservation made with this program. So they're helping healthcare workers who need to get a little of a break. They're raising money for Red Cross, and they're filling hotel rooms, which means hospitality workers are going back to work. So all of those things, I think, fall into the category of good. And then this last one, if you feel like being a good person, this is called Happy Letters. It's a website where if there are lots of people in the world who are isolated right now and don't have family who can send a letter, it may seem weird to send letters to people you don't know, but here you can send a drawing or write a letter with clicking. And then it uploads it on Happy Letters, and Happy Letter finds recipients to receive said letters. So there's been 500 recipients in 4 countries so far. It's just 2 people who are doing this on a volunteer basis. So if you have people who you want to receive letters, you can list your nursing home here, and they will try and add you to their SART. And here, I mean, literally you can just click and add your letter. So it makes it very easy. It's something I think lots of children would probably find to be fun to do. So anyway, so that's my update of funny things. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I don't know, Tina, if you have a screen share or if you're talking, but that's my good news for the week.
Okay.
There.
All right. So I'm going to screen share as well. And I'm going to, let's see, am I going to do it the right way?
You're going to do it.
I think so. Where'd it go?
Yep. I'm putting headphones in so I won't echo you, because
Okay.
we're socially distanced in the office across the hall from each other.
Yes. So. Okay. We are going to start here with a mother cat in Turkey. Apparently, she decided that she needed help with her kitten, so she picked it up and she transported it into the emergency room, where they were very, very good about taking care of it, which is very, very cute. But I think the cutest thing and the coolest thing about this is this article says that in Turkey, stray animals are considered everybody's pets. So there's always a bowl of food or water that is out on the street no matter where you go, so that any stray dogs or cats have something to eat and they're taken care of. So that's cool. I thought that was neat. Then we're going to go to Orlando, where a family, families are getting what they call TPed. Infusion Tea is offering a special that they will go and deliver an orange sign to the front yard of these people's houses, and loose leaf tea and a couple of rolls of toilet paper, and you can order that for somebody that you want to just send a nice gift to. So they've done about 1,300 of them in Orlando at this point. They were able to actually bring back all of their furloughed employees to do this, and now they're sending out boxes throughout the country. So far, they've sent 1,000 boxes out in the mail. So I thought that was a very interesting, cool little thing. So people get up in the morning, walk out in their front yard, and they've been TP'd. And this Colorado man won the lottery twice in one day. I want to know where he gets his luck. I've never won the lottery ever, not even $5. But he went to 2 different stores in his town, bought a couple tickets at each store, and then won $1 million. One from one store and $1 million from the other store. So that's a guy who's got some great luck. Here's a very cool story out of the rainforest. Okay, so apparently this company called Rainforest Connection, or organization actually, is taking old cell phones and installing them in the rainforest so that they can detect illegal logging as early as possible. So they install these cell phones out there, and they can tell just by the sounds of chainsaws, which apparently they pick up from pretty far away, and even the sounds and changing sounds of the birds in the forest indicate that there's something going on. So these cell phones pick these sounds up and send it to nearby forest rangers, who can then come out immediately and stop illegal logging. So if you have an old cell phone, you might consider donating it, and it'll go to really good use. Okay, so this next one is really cool, and I'm going to play a video, because this is the coolest thing. You have to actually see it. Okay, so this is called Toxic Art, and it is out of Ohio. So here's the video. Hold on a minute here. There it goes.
I love it when there's chemistry involved in art. That's cool. Just saying. Cool.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so reclaimed paint.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Mind you, just so everybody knows, this was a campaign that is actually over, but this is they're not taking money anymore. Apparently they did pretty well.
That's very cool. So they wanted
Yeah.
to make factories so that they could reclaim stuff.
Yep.
And that's very cool.
Yeah, so, okay. So let's get out of this and go to our next one. Okay, thank you. So, okay, so here we go. What's next? Oh, these are musicians. It's a place in New York City. They're putting people in the subways and having musicians play with, collections, and they're not taking the money that they're getting. They're actually putting a sign up that says, if you're homeless and you need some money, take some. So apparently they're getting more money than they've ever gotten before, just by putting that sign up, and they're actually letting people, like I said, make sure that people are taken care of and they have money for food. And so that's a really cool thing that they're doing there. This place is in London. It's called Silo, and it's a restaurant with a zero waste policy. They have absolutely no food waste. Whatever they don't use goes back into composting, and they give it back to the local farms and garden producers that are actually producing for the restaurant. So it's a very, very cool circular ecosystem that they have there. So
Can I stop you there and ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all seen the articles about how they're suggesting that maybe we should open up public spaces so that restaurants can have more tables? so that like if a restaurant is near a public plaza or something, because they're keeping the capacity down to 25%, that instead you allow the restaurants to put tables out into the public plazas and parks so that they can actually make a living. Has anybody seen anything about that?
I have not.
No, I saw something very briefly, but it didn't go into detail. But I think that's a great idea. I mean, if you think about it, Europe is like that.
Right. Yeah.
And they're actually expanding. And what I've seen is they're looking to expand and open some roads that may be closed to traffic, but are, and the city of St. Pete, I think there's some discussion about, closing certain roads and on certain days. And we'll see what happens.
That'd be a cool idea.
It'd be fun too.
Yeah,
to be able,
it would.
Especially if you were able to go and be safe at the same time.
Absolutely. This was funny. I don't know if anybody else heard about this, but I guess somebody thought they were being really funny, come back with a warrant. It was a drug house in Palm Coast, and the police actually did come back with a warrant and arrested everybody in the house. And so this is what you get for being sarcastic with the police in Palm Coast.
Yeah.
And my final one is this. This is Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos. Apparently, in Colombia, Pablo Escobar had 4 hippos. Well, when he died in 1993, those 4 hippos were let go into the rainforest there, and they are now 80 hippos. And for a long time, everybody thought that they were really, causing problems with the ecosystem down there. But what they have found now is that they actually are helping the ecosystem. They have a diet and a body size that's similar to, extinct giant llamas. And they also share a similar size and semi-aquatic habitat with another extinct mammal, which I can't pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. But as it turns out, these hippos are actually helping the ecosystem down there. And I guess they also point out that there is also a study from Africa that says that hippo poop plays a keystone role in boosting fishery productivity in Africa. So they're thinking that maybe it'll help in Colombia as well. Cocaine hippos.
Cocaine hippos. All right.
Cocaine hippos.
Good end of the story for the hippos. So does anybody else have any more good news they want to share? So if not, that's kind of our presentation for this week of random good news stories. The one thing we do ask people is if you see a good news story, send it to us so we can add it into our list, because some of these are coming from other people, not just from us. So, okay, David, is that fun? Did you enjoy the stories?
Yeah, I did it. I haven't participated much with the rising tide since all this COVID-19 stuff has gone down. So, I was just kind of dipping my toe into some of these online meetings that people are having and seeing what was going on. So yeah, thank you. It is actually really refreshing to see.
Yeah, happy things. Yeah, we've got a bunch of, like the range of what we're trying to do. If you want education stuff, we've got some of that. We've got silly stuff. Tonight, there's a happy hour at 7. If you feel like having drinks with Juan, he'll be hosting a happy hour at 7. And so it ranges from happy hours to like business help during COVID to good news. But we felt like the good news was important because there's a lot of bad news right now. So good news is something we all need to be remembering is out there.
And I have signed up for some of the education stuff for next week.
Okay, cool. Well, we're glad to see you, and we miss you in the space, miss not having our people here. So it's good to see people virtually, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Okay. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, Kai. We see you, but we know you're not talking. So.